What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Promodern video. We're going to be playing in the championships. This is a quarterly tournament of the Magic Online Society. And what I'm going to be bringing to this event is going to be Elves. I've been really interested and very excited about this deck. I've been having a lot of fun trying to learn it and to try to get it to a point where I'm playing it proficiently. And I tried a version with Natural Order, which I really like, by the way. But what I'm going to be trying out today is like a different approach that I've been thinking about, going a little bit deeper on a bunch of copies of Deranged Hermit and Kamal Fist of Krosa. I took like a bunch of ideas from other Elves players. Unfortunately, I can't remember who I stole from, but I grabbed all of these ideas and I can like mash them together. So there's like a bunch of one-off things. And first of all, this is a Tangle Wire main deck version of the deck. I am personally not a fan of Tangle Wire, but I think that, I'm not a fan of it as a main deck card, I should be more specific, but it really helps in the combo matchups. And having access to Tangle Wire in the main deck means that I have like a reasonable chance against combo and stuff like that. And then, I can clean my deck up on post-Cyber the games. The other approach would be to just entirely ignore the combo matchups in game one. And instead of playing these copies of Tangle Wire, play maybe like a second Masticore or main deck the Genesis, or maybe play Color of the Claw, play the Well-Wisher. So that would be like another approach to building the deck. I'm choosing to go with this for this tournament in particular, but I could definitely see going the other way around, and it's definitely something that I will be trying again in the future. The other thing I added, which is not particularly stock, is a singleton copy of Sylvan Library. I was considering whether to put this in the main deck or in the sideboard, but having access to Library means that we have even one more very impactful 2-mana play that we can deploy in the early game, which seems very good. So wanted to try that out. Then, as I was saying earlier, I am playing more copies than usually you would see in an Elves deck like this one. So we're going all the way up to 3 Deranged Hermits. This card is kind of like the way that you win most games, honestly. So seeing it more often brings us to a point where we have more impactful spells in our deck. Some other people are playing stuff like Biorhythm, which I just don't think is good, and like things like that. So going with Deranged Hermit is what makes the most sense to me. So we're going to try that out. The sideboard gets rid of a bunch of cards that I have seen that sometimes work, sometimes don't. I try to build the sideboard so it works all the time, basically. So you will see that there's no Sharpshooter here, so instead I have like an extra copy of Masticore. In the matchups where you want Sharpshooter, Masticore does that same thing, except you can always cast it. I have tried Sharpshooter in this deck, but the truth of the matter is that you have exactly 5 red sources in your entire deck. Sure, you also have the Abimaya Granger that can find the mountain, but like that's like a delayed red source even. So because you don't know sometimes whether you want to be fetching for the mountain or early or not, so it put you in a situation where everything was really awkward sometimes. So I just decided to cut it out just straight up and try to go with Masticore instead. We'll see how that goes. Besides that, we have 2 Color of the Claw, 1 Well-Wisher, and 3 Wall of Blossoms. The reason for Wall of Blossoms is mostly for the burn matchup and goblins. But then I expect it to do hopefully some amount of work versus stuff like the Rock and matchups where like just putting a body and just cycling a little bit deeper into your deck can be very valuable. So this is definitely something that I've seen that I have not tried personally just yet. So I'm going to be doing that today. That's going to be it. A very quick deck. Like, you have seen the deck in action if you have followed my content, so I am not going to go into detail about how the deck works. You can check that out in those other videos. But that's going to be it. We're going to be playing the first round against Cyberpunker, and we will see you there. Okay, so what do we got? Actually, not super amazing hand. If any of these were like a Mana Dork instead of just Green Ranger or Wirewood Symbiote, I would be a lot more excited about this hand. It's still a functional hand, so I think I'm going to keep it just mostly because I know that I'm playing against Stan. So this is probably not a hand that I would keep in the abstract, but the fact that I know that I'm playing against Blue-Green Madness, and like this hand probably does some pretty decent work versus Blue-Green Madness, makes me want to keep this. Having drawn a land makes me want to just lead on this Green Ranger. If he wants to daze it, he can just daze it, I don't care. Let's see if he has a survival or a mongrel hand. I would probably be a lot more scared of a mongrel hand, because like this hand is kind of slow actually. He just passes the turn. Probably holding up counterspell. Okay. Let's see. So do I want to play the Symbiote or do I just play Double Courier? I think I'm just going to play Double Courier. Alternatively, I could just not play anything because I just don't want to run into Counterspell. So swing for 1. I could just potentially trade with the Daze since I'm actually kind of a little bit short on mana. Yeah, so I'm just going to play another Courier. And I'm playing out the Courier because I don't want him to be able to Counterspell my Symbiote. And like I made my opponent's mana very awkward, and now down the line I can, because I was considering holding the Quirion for survival purposes in case I draw survival, but I can just like play a Weirwood Symbiote down the line and then just go from there. Just bounce the Quirion Ranger at that point, and then that's when I do the thing. Okay, just passes a turn, no effects. Well, now we drew Squee. Doesn't really do anything. Okay, he just passed the turn without doing anything though, so I think I'm just going to play out this Squee just so I can have another 1/1 in play. Obviously, it's not the most impactful play, but whatever. Like, I'm not gonna run a Wirewood Symbiote into a Daze/Counterspell. Like, I just don't need to do anything. Careful study. Discard Squee and Rootwalla. Moto has kind of achieved the impossible, and they have figured out a way to make foils even uglier than they used to be. Discard Survival and Squee. So he is survival flooded for sure. So now we get to do some stuff here. So I guess we're gonna go, I think we swing with everything. If he wants to block with a Quirion Ranger, I'm fine with the trade. Like, I already have a bunch of resources. He doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to untap Squee, bouncing the forest, replay forest, and now I get to either play Tanglewire, which I think is what I'm going to do, or play a Symbiote. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for Tanglewire. I could run this Symbiote into Daze if I wanted to. Does it really give me an advantage, is the question. I'm not sure it does. Yeah, I'm not gonna run it into Daze. So now he's getting back some stuff, but oh, he Frantic Searches? Oh, gross. He's got Frantic Search. That's brutal. So Frantic Search effectively blanks the Tanglewire for a turn, because he's gonna get to discard both Squeeze and he's gonna get to untap all of his mana. So maybe I should have gone for Yavimaya Ranger instead. It's a really good Frantic Search, that's for sure. Okay, place out a Mongrel and Survival. So now we're going to stack our stuff properly. We're just gonna tap 3 creatures. Second Tanglewire. That's pretty funny actually. So kind of do think that he has Daze. So let's untap Squee, bounce, replay, and let's play Ranger and get a forest. Yeah, I'm just gonna run this Symbiote actually. That's fine. Because if he has Daze, that's one more thing that he needs to tap, so it's fine. Now I get to swing, and I bounce the Quirion Ranger. Seems fine. This deals 2 points of damage. He can have a Rootwalla that he can discard to the Mongrel, but that's fine, because that means that he doesn't have Rootwalla to discard to survival. Although I guess he has Double Squee, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so untap Squee, bounce Quirion Ranger. He can get a little bit of value here thanks to survival. His Tanglewires would be a lot better as natural orders, let me tell you that much. I mean, they are kind of annoying for my opponent. The second one is definitely going to be much more annoying than the first one, I think. Okay, so he actually taps some mana here. Interesting. I wonder what he's going to use it for, because like he left green mana, which obviously makes sense because of survival, but I feel like I would have tapped the green sources and I would have discarded the Squeeze to get value. But it depends on what the rest of his hand looks like. We're not going to have clean attacks now. The good thing, though, is that we don't have to worry about the counterspell anymore. We may have to worry about Daze, however. Though he didn't have it last turn, so his 1 draw needs to have been Daze. No attacks. The question now is, do I bounce the Granger or not? I think I do. Like, I don't want to have to pay Echo. And this leaves me to potentially use the Symbiote for something else. Fading. And what do we draw? Another Hermit. Okay, so we can actually cast a Hermit if we wanted to. Yeah, I don't think these wires are doing anything anymore. So I think I'm just going to continue developing my mana. So get another fetch land. I guess I might as well untap this and replay my forest. And I guess I'm gonna redeploy my Quirion Ranger. Not the most exciting turn, but I do have to be worried about getting cheese in a single turn, thanks to Wonder. I guess I do attack. Squee definitely gets in there. It's a matter of whether the Quirion Rangers do. I think I don't. Okay, I think I don't attack. It's just kind of free for him to block. So he gets 1 more Rootwalla. He's got 2 Rootwalla in hands. 2 Rootwallas in hand, I mean. Mismatched, by the way. Wonder. Okay, there's the Wonder. I don't think he's gonna have lethal this turn. I may get cheesed out, though. I may definitely get cheesed out. But he's setting up lethal for probably the following turn. Okay, so now he seduce Fly. gonna take 3/5 this turn, and then he lethals me following turn. Leaves one squee so that he can discard it to get Arrogant Worm, and that's gonna be lethal. So, and he can just tap his mana next turn because he's not gonna need it. Maybe I should have Tangle Wired last turn. Priest. Yeah, you're too late. You're simply too late at this point. Let's lead on Tangle Wire, see what happens. Although I guess he doesn't even need to counter this, because he can just tap his lands and swing in the air. He can pump on upkeep. He needs to swing for 15. This is 5 assists, 6, 7 from the squeeze, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus the pumps. Yeah, so I think he just has lethal. So blocking doesn't matter, so I'm going to be doing this now, where I just untap to play a priest. He can counterspell this, but the only reason I'm playing it is so that I basically force him to use mana on counterspell and he can't Arrogant Worm, but yeah. Discard Sweep, gets Root Walla, Frantic Search. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, that puts both the Worm and the Root Walla into play. It means he can't pump, so I guess it's only gonna block one thing. And actually, I would want to run into Daze now, funnily enough, because running into Daze means he has one thing less that he can tap. But he can just take the 4, it's fine. Oh, okay. So untap here, bounce here. Does he already have lethal with what he's got? He's tapping dudes. Okay, so that's not lethal. The problem is I don't have lethal on the crackback either, so he probably just needs to hold up counterspell mana to make sure that I don't resolve specifically survival, and then he's fine. So I'm finally gonna have a bunch of mana, but survival is the only card that matters, because I need haste in order to turn this around. No attacks, interesting. Okay, so fadings happen. We're gonna tap 3 things. Llanowar Elves. Okay, play that. So if I tap Priest, that would be 3 mana. 3, 4, 5. We play Hermit. If I tap 3 mana for Granger, is that free? Because that's gonna be 2 untapped. So it actually cost me 1 mana to play the Granger. So I guess we're gonna go with this. Yeah, he did have the counterspell. There we go. And now untap, bouncing a forest, replay forest, and make 3 5 mana. Make some squirrels, and I guess I untap priest once again. And this allows me to cast the Granger, so might as well. And that's it. I think he has lethal, doesn't he? He only has to tap 3 things. He's out of Root Wallas. Arrogant Worm is a blocker though. Yeah, I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead in the air. Some pumps, and then we die to the Mongrel. Yeah, we were exactly 1 turn too late. Maybe I should have slammed the Hermit earlier. I think I should have been a little bit more aggressive, like not play around Daze. Yeah, maybe I messed that game up. So Lyris sounds good, Genesis sounds good, Masticore, and I like colors. So usually in this matchup, what I like to do in post-Hybrid the games is I turn into a control deck with a Masticore, just a Masticore control deck. Well-Wisher, it's kind of interesting actually. I think I'm into it. I don't think I want Naturalizes just for survivals. Like I already have Vigilante and Druid Lyrist for those. I do like Color because he has a bunch of sweepers. The question is, do I want Wall of Blossoms in this matchup? I actually don't know. I don't think so. I think I want to cut down on some amount of maybe like a Finhorn Elves and maybe not Priest. Priest is just too strong, but some of the 1/1 effects like Acolyte. Yeah, maybe I just get Wall of Blossoms instead, like a couple of walls in there. He's gonna have Pyrokinesis, he's gonna have a bunch of things like that. So I need to be watching out for Pyrokinesis, Cave-In, Sweeper effects. Game number 2, and we are met with a classic Cradle draw. This is good. Can work with this. I think I want to actually put the Squee back. Like Nantuko Vigilante may actually do something. So this hand is pretty rough into an early Cave-In or Pyrokinesis, but I don't think I can realistically play around that kind of stuff this early in the game. I think I get a forest here as opposed to the mountain. Maybe wrong, but now we cross fingers. Actually, I realized that I should have definitely kept the Squeeze since my game plan here is Masticore, right? So that was very stupid on my part. I didn't think it through. There's a mountain. So I can make how much? Like 4, 6 mana here, 7 mana. We'll just play out this Kamal. I think I do. Only because it allows me to play around the sweeper. Also, I care less if this gets countered than if something else gets countered, like a Masticore. Counterspell. Unsurprising. But I do think that I needed to like jam something there, right? Because otherwise I'm asking to get blown out by a sweeper. But yeah, very silly of me to bottom the squee. Like the more that I think about it, the stupider that I feel. Mongrel. Okay, yep. There's the pyrokinesis, pitching squee. And here is morph. Could be anything. So I think it's actually nice that I got rid of the counterspell there. I think it works out fine. No blocks, because I need these vigilante to enable my mana, my Gaia's Cradle. If he does have another counterspell, that's gonna be a problem, but I don't think I can keep waiting. I think I need to jam this Masticore. And yeah, I'm not gonna attack. He may have Arrogant Worm. Ah, he did have Arrogant Worm. So we just have to dodge Survival and Wonder. Naturalize. Woof. Yeah, we're dead. We're super dead now. So I can trade this more for the card in his hand, but that's just not worth it. So what am I taking here? 9? Yeah, this is really bad. If I draw Survival, is that enough? I don't think so. Even if I draw Survival, I think I'm just too far behind here. Yep. So we play a Llanowar Elf to block. Yeah, we're just dead. I don't think there's anything we can do. I can technically trade with both of his cards in hand. So we block like this. He pumps and then discards a card. And then I morph. He has to discard another one. Yeah, he has to cave in. Huh, just trades. I mean, not that it matters. We're just too far behind here. All right, good game, Stan. So that was rough. That was rough. Actually, look at that. Like, the walls would have actually been pretty sick. The walls would have actually been fantastic. Good to know. That's an interesting data point. Okay, we didn't go too far this time, but I am interested in this concept, right? I do think that there were definitely some mistakes in that match. I played around Daze a little bit longer than I should have, potentially. I am not sure. I could have also just mulliganed the hand in game 1. Like, I was on the draw. I feel like if I had been on the play, things would have looked a little bit better for me. But being on the draw with that kind of hand, which didn't actually have any ramp in it, like Quirion Ranger kind of feels like it's ramp, but it actually is not. So just having a very, very slow hand in terms of mana. We did have some pretty good payoff, but they simply never came in time. And I feel like I should have been able to reassess, and I should have just slammed the Hermit when I had the chance into a potential Daze, and that would have probably given me the extra turn that I needed in order to actually raise him back. But yeah, I wasn't able to figure that out in time, and of course I correctly lost in consequence. So that is how it goes sometimes. But yep, this is an interesting idea. I think I like this list conceptually. These I'm not too excited about, like Tangle Wars. I mean, we saw the Tangle Wars in that first game where they were kind of awkward. Like, they were doing something, but they actually were not doing anything. And if these Tangle Wars had been something else, like if they had been like in natural order, like I was playing in my other version, I would have been in much better shape. Or if they had been kind of anything else, honestly, just something that I can put pressure with or anything like that. But that's kind of what you're doing, right? Like, Tangle War is a card that does a lot sometimes, and some other times it just doesn't do anything. So you have to take it for what it is. And if you're putting Tangle War in your deck, you need to be, aware of what you're getting out of it. So definitely an interesting concept. I do like it, though. I do think that it's a fine card, but I do think that it just varies very greatly between matchups. There are certain matchups where it's just absolutely amazing, and there are other matchups where it just doesn't do enough. Like, we just saw it there in a similarly based deck, like with Survival of Fittest and stuff, that I can put like a bunch of stuff very quickly and has some tricks with like Frantic Surge and stuff. A card like Tangle War definitely loses a lot of its power. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, folks. Take care. Bye bye.